All right, good afternoon, guys. This is today's 21st, I believe, and it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Someone had left a message. I forget the actual name of it, but he actually wanted me to look at a gold chart. So I'll tag you in this as I get ready to go look at this particular gold chart and uh, and uh, and give you my analysis of what I've came up with. And right now, if I start off with monthly, I'll go back to where I started first. I was able to basically kind of count this as the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. Now, what's not clear is that if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is wave 5 of 3, and then this will be pretty much wave 4 here. Or this can be 1, 2, possibly 3, and then 4, where the 2 and the 4 will kind of line up on the trend line, and this will be basically the top will be wave 3 and not 5. Either way, as I look down at it on a weekly time frame, so basically if you have let's just say this is the 5. Well, then you have a 3-wave move here for A, you have a 3-wave move here for B, and now you have a 1, 2, then a 3 move here. The problem with the reason why I couldn't do this as a 3, 4, 5, because from here, if my B was wave 5, well then you should see 5 waves up, not 3 waves up from here. So from there, I went back and I saw a triangle, and in that triangle, I counted from here. This is a 3. This will be the A. This is the B. This is the C. This is the D, and then this is the E. And if that's the case, you should be looking at a move to the downside, basically. But most likely on a weekly time frame, this needs to. I would have to go to a daily chart, which I can do. I'll kind of keep an eye on it. I've never traded gold, so I'm just kind of going off of Elliott patterns and what I see. But hopefully this does give you a little bit of clarification. This needs to show at least 5 waves, and going to a daily or 360 or 240, if you can kind of see that, then this will give you a better indication. Right now, this is possibly this could be a 1 if you go from 1360 or so down to 12, but I doubt it. It's nowhere near 1 actually. So this still needs to show a little bit more of impulsiveness to be a 1. On the flip side, if this is not a triangle, where obviously it will be invalidated once it went above this particular high, and this high is currently roughly at around 1370, a few pips a little bit higher than that. This high stopped at nearly 1360 or 50 or whatever. So from the weekly, it doesn't look like it looks like it needs to go down a little bit further, and then once it retraces, if you are going to go short, you would basically want to let it trace at least 0.618 of that. But this is kind of how I just kind of looked at it, and it took me about 5 minutes to kind of come up with this, just based on the patterns that I saw. Now, if this is not a 5 up here at the top and this is a 3, well then you're looking at a totally different ballgame, because now you have the A, the B, and then the 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and you would basically need one more move to the downside to complete. Wait, hold on. That'll be 3. Be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you would still have one more move to the downside, but ultimately, gold will be making, within the next couple of months, be going higher at some point. So I haven't looked at a daily, so let me just go and see what this does when I look at a daily. So as you can see here, on a daily, we are in the wave 4. Here you can probably count, this is a 1, then this is a 2, this is a 3, possibly, this is a 4, and then you have a 1, A, B, C for 2. But from the looks of it, it's possible that you, if this is the 3 here, and this is a 4, and then this is 1 of 5, this is 2 of 5, well then prices needs to start to come back down. But this is a bit of a forced count. It's definitely not 5 waves. So it's hard. You can do a 1, 2, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, and then you have wave 4 here. Then you have the 1, 2, or this is wave 3. This is A. This is B. Then this is C, basically. So I would need to obviously sim trade this a little bit for a few days before I make more of a let's say 80% accuracy of what I believe it is. I've never traded gold, so I honestly don't know. But hopefully you've been labeling this, and I can at least give a little bit of clarification of what your thoughts were. Or if I was totally off, please just send me a send another comment, and let me know what you had, and I can kind of try to break that and pick that apart and see if it is or why I believe it's not. That's the best way for me to kind of answer that question. So I hope that this clarified a little bit of it, of what you kind of had the correction in. If not, if you had something that was completely different, then shoot me just a quick saying what you had it. You can post a chart or something, or just show me that you had it in this particular correction, not currently what I had, and then I can go from there. Looking at the other few markets that I was in, I spoke about on Sunday about the EURUSD, and the EURUSD ended up pretty much starting to take off. So I'm up. I was up about 110 pips a few moments ago. Now I'm down to 97. But I still anticipate a move to the downside in this particular market. The euro, which I'm always in, so I am still waiting for price needs to break 1720. It needs to break 1720. If it cannot break 1720, well then technically my particular count will be it will be to the price will be going to the upside. And when I made the video, this particular long bar of my X was at wasn't there. I had the A, B, and then I had the C of W possibly ending at around 1715 or so. It ended at 1722. And then you had a sharp wave move for X, which is not complete. That was like in a day. So the X is here. So then if you have a 1 here, possibly, then you have the 2, well then price should start to head down and get closer to the 1660 level. Being that the holidays is within the next 2 days, I don't see much volume. You might get a something good happening over the next course of tonight and early tomorrow, but after that it shouldn't be anything. So I'm waiting for price to if you look at it, then price needed to break about 1780, and it only went there once, and then on the second attempt it only went to like 1760. So in a sense, it's indicating that prices are to the downside. My Ichimoku cloud is starting to lift up, but price still needs to break this 1720 level. And if it can do that, then prices will head down to the next level, 1700, and then 1660. At that point, I believe wave 2 will be in progress, and then sometime start of next week, you'll start to see the move up for wave 3 of wave 5. So ultimately, in the long run, my goal will be to catch wave 3, 4, and 5 to the upside to go above 121, and then the long-term position is to the downside for wave 5. So once it tops out at 122, 123, or however high it decides it wants to go, and the count is still valid, then the long-term position will be to the downside for sure, because if you get in at let's say 122, 123, we'll expect price to move down to about 98, 96, somewhere around there. So that's a pretty good chunk of change if you play it right. So I'll leave it at that on the euro. And lastly, I'll speak of the pound. So on the pound, I'm down because I actually took my profits out and then I got back in. I was long, and here at 132.62, I originally had my Y here, and I think I had my stop somewhere around here. Price kind of came down and went back up. Once price went back up to 32.78, I got out, and I got out with a little over 100 pips profit my thing. And then once it went down here, I kind of saw what I kind of got in prematurely at 132.38. Price went above that. I think I was down about 40, maybe even somewhere towards may have even been like yeah, a little over 40 ticks or so last night, 40 pips. But it never hit my stop loss. So if I still don't think this is the end of Y. I think this is the 3 basically. So from here would be 1, 2, 3, and my short will be going to wave 4, which will give me about 70 to 80 pips if correct, and then you have another wave move up for wave Y of 4, and then you have the move to the downside. So if that is correct, we shall see. That should probably happen sometime next week as well. I really haven't touched the New Zealand, which although that is a good trade going on, I haven't really looked at that into great detail yet. I kind of already got my just too many trades going on right now. So I hope this helped, and I'll try to get some other charts out, and eventually I'm gonna start doing some cryptocurrencies and and a couple other futures trades, possibly even the S&P minis, and just some of the majors basically that most people kind of look at. So I'm gonna try to get, instead of having a bunch of currencies, I'm gonna try to just do some varieties of a couple of futures, a couple of currencies, a couple of cryptocurrencies, and kind of go from there and just kind of see how this Elliott plays out and how good in detail it is. But hopefully this helped, and happy trading.